Damian Irvine before Ebbsfleet play Hartlepool, and you face Hartlepool today with a new manager in the dugout. It's the first game here for the man who came in earlier this week, Harry Watling, and you finally got your man.
Yeah, we did. As we sit here today, very pleased with how the week's gone and that we sit here going into a big game on a sunny day, well prepared. There's always a lot of people in the market looking for management jobs in football, and this club particularly. I think it's always a sign in tough times to look at the upside and the plus side, and I think the amount of people that took an interest in the market demonstrates where this club is and from where it perhaps has been in the past. So it's been an exciting week, and very pleased to see Harry, David and John, the first team coach, in here today for what's going to be an exciting day.
We spoke earlier in the week and you were talking to me about some of the key criteria that you were looking for in the new management structure and the new management team. What was it that made Harry and David Kerslake and John stand out in terms of what was offered to you?
Well, as I said, there's been a lot of interest in the role. We've spoken to a lot of people, a lot of individuals. I think at National League football level, it's an attractive league for a lot of reasons, but there's always interest from people from higher divisions, and there's interest from people from lower divisions as well. But the key is balance and ticking as many boxes as you can, covering as many bases as you can, getting as much as you can in that appointment. And Harry, it's there on public record, it's been probably one of the oft-mentioned top 5 or 6 young up-and-coming managers in the UK game. And he's young at 34, but experienced at the highest levels, certainly with QPR and at Rangers. So the pressure in terms of delivering and the tactical and awareness and the modern approach is something that he's well across and well known for. He's certainly been in the mix for a number of clubs higher up the pyramid. And we looked at a whole package where, with Harry, David Kerslake, who I think the conversation has been around a bit of grey in the building, and David has been age and experience and seen so many clubs at League 1, League 2, Championship level, Premiership level. He stood in the technical area managing a Premiership team. The balance in what you can achieve there and what we've got is exciting. Potentially, we're always reviewing, Chaz, as you know. You're always looking at why things don't go well and why things need changing, and I think we try and rectify that with every appointment. So that balance of the assistant manager, I use inverted commas because it's a management team, and Harry, that up and coming progressive style management, the work ethic is a great balance, and that's why we're quite confident that we've got the best options at the moment on the table.
When Harry came to the club, he did a welcome interview with Katie Humphries, and I was interested to hear that he was referencing young players, because obviously he's got a lot of experience working with younger players, and suggested that Ebbsfleet may be a good landing place for young players from Championship, Football League, even possible Premier clubs, where they might want to come and develop. And that must have been a very interesting aspect of your discussions with him, that he can attract that talent. Because last year you had 3 players come in on loan from further up the pyramid, from Middlesbrough, etc., and they made a major contribution, didn't they? Yeah,
they did. And that's certainly, Harry's very good at that, and his ethos fits in with us as that. I think it's fair to say as a club, we've followed that pathway. We've got great relationships with clubs higher up the pyramid, and we've reaped the rewards from that in the loan market. I think it's fair to say we only had a discussion this week, obviously, with Harry around this very matter, and he was very pleased and encouraged to come into the club, knowing that the trust levels that this club has with other larger clubs are strong. Because you can have all the contacts in the world, but if you make a phone call and that contact says, I'm not so sure about sending him to you, for a variety of reasons, that's a problem. So we've got a great marriage where the club has demonstrated in the past that it trusts the best loanees and the best young loanees, and they go on and improve, and that's demonstrable. We know the names: Tommy Fogarty, Brian Palongo, and others, Louis Molden, etc. So we're very pleased for that, and we'll keep doing that. I think the other thing around working with the young people is the real buzz this week, and I think from a footballer's point of view is if a management team can get the best and bring on youth or younger players from higher divisions or lower divisions, it's always the skill set as well that they can actually bring on and reinvigorate and still teach more mature players and those that have been around a while. What happens, Chaz, when you get down the division, so to speak, from being in an EFL situation, or indeed sometimes when you step up from more developmental lower league teams, is the individual progression, the individual coaching, the unit coaching week to week can sometimes dry up. The National League's a very busy league, Saturdays to Tuesdays and cup competitions, etc. And there's a finite amount of time that you can specify on individual players. I think the management team we've got now allows that to happen a lot more, and I think you'll see, whilst the priority always in the National League is winning games of football, focusing on that particular league, that self-development and that bringing on can sometimes be lost. So an exciting thing about this system that we've got now with the 3 full-time management team coaches, a strong assistance and coaching around Harry, will allow all the players to have more specific development.
It was also interesting that while he was at Glasgow Rangers with Michael Beale, he was head coach, but he was also set-piece coach. And that's an area that in this league, I think the better you can be with set pieces, it provides rewards. So if that's something he can bring to the table, it's got to be a good thing.
I think we've seen that. Our supporter base here is pretty savvy. They've seen a lot of football here. They've seen a lot of great football here over the last decades. But they've also seen some lean times in terms of the quality of what's been out there. So when we've had a start to the year, as we've had, or late last year when we're fighting for our status in the division, you need to get a sense and a feeling of getting something from set pieces, being in the mix. They don't always come off, otherwise football will be really easy. But I certainly think, through no want of trying, but it's certainly an area that we can improve on, and everybody in the stands can see that and understand that. So it's not a big secret. But anyone coming in new in the building has different strengths, and Harry has those, as do Dave and John.
A couple of points. You mentioned the fan base, and certainly in the fan base, I think the initial reaction was, Harry who? I don't think he was a name that was familiar to the fans, but certainly within football he's extremely well regarded. Yeah. You don't need to do a lot of research to discover that. I think some people were saying, oh, this is a gamble, this is a risk. But you could appoint Pep Guardiola and it would be a risk, it would be a gamble. You don't know that the manager's going to work, do you? And you've taken a calculated risk, as you do with any appointment. Mm.
Do you know what? It's Groundhog Day, Chaz. I'm sure if you change some dates on social media, you might go back to 2020 and say exactly the same about Dennis Kutrib. And you wouldn't, and I don't think you'd find a fan that would take back or regret 1 second of having Dennis at the football club and what he achieved here. I appreciate the nature of household names, and football at the level, at all levels, but particularly National League level, has a number of names that go around and about, and perceived, there might be some obvious ones. One particular one that was bandied about had accepted a role to go back to his old club and was already there. So, and whether or not he was in the mix or not, those things happen. And so not everyone's always available, but also we're a football club that sort of, particularly in the last 4 years since I've been here, we march and we set the tempo and the tune here. We're not followers. I think we've had good success in doing it that way in the past. I wouldn't regret bringing Danny Shaw to this football club at all. He delivered last year a staying up in the division, which I think, if we're all being honest and equal, that was a tough job, and I don't think without a change that would have happened. For a multitude of reasons, we needed a different energy and a change. So it's timing, it's horses for courses, but Harry, that surprises me if you say that, it's a bit of a who is Harry and all that, but only because I guess I'm living and breathing the football industry daily, and I know what people are saying. The amount of contact I've had from sporting directors, CEOs, chairman this week since we made the announcement, saying, wow,
how did you do that?
Well, we had a close look, and we maybe should have gone that way or something. And look, that serves for no other purpose other than to think maybe you're on the right track with a few things. So, look, all it means is we've got a job to do, and we've got a good balance and things in place. The other side of it, I think, Chaz, and look, we're a good football club here in terms of the staff around, and all the staff this week particularly have been exemplary. They've been outstanding. And one thing, when people say, oh, who? It also tells me that they're pretty professional mob around here in terms of not letting things sneak out. Often a management appointment is like, oh, there it is, because it's been a week before leaked or talked about and all that. That hasn't happened. So if that means a little bit more people are more shocked, that's probably a reflection of the quality of the people around in not leaking that out, rather than sort of, wow, that's big and left field.
And knowing you as we do, I would imagine that the brief you've given Harry is more than just stay in the division. I would have thought that you've got one eye on climbing up that table and achieving great things this season.
Yeah, Harry's not here to he's not here to save the club from relegation this year as a sole, target. We've got a slow and steady and a measured job ahead of us here. It's not going to happen today or overnight. It's not. And if anyone thinks that, I get the sentiment, I get the emotion behind it, but this is going to take, zoning in on clubs ahead of us and chipping them off and moving and progressing as a squad and players individually and getting there. And so we need to move ahead, and come January time, let's have a look at where we sit. I've said before, we always make appointments with a long-term view. Regardless of what happens, you go into it with a long-term view, and our plan is to have Harry here at the club for a long time. He's on a 2-year deal here, with a view to really taking us to where we feel we can be, and that still can be this year. One of the key aspects, and we talked about it earlier in the week, around timing of decisions and all that, is for that reason, not to be too deep into a patch of low confidence and self-doubt and poor performances that it becomes unsalvageable.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Good luck with the appointment. I'm sure it's going to be welcome this afternoon with lots of cheering and maybe a celebration at the end of the match.
Let's hope so.
Thanks, Damian.
Thank you.